Hey everyone, welcome to Whispers of Turkish Stars. Settle in, because what I'm about to share has left the fandom buzzing. And before we dive deep, make sure you're subscribed and passing this video along to anyone who follows these two, because the story unfolding behind the scenes is too beautiful to miss. Thank you for being here. Fans of the magnetic duo Erkan Merek and Hazal Subasai have been holding their breath for months, and now the whispers have turned into a pulse you can feel across social media. The news that spread through the community today did not come from a random account or a rumor mill, it came from a name that rarely speaks without certainty. Renowned journalist Bilal Özcan went public with an announcement that set hearts racing and timelines ablaze. He revealed that Erkan and Hazal, who have guarded their private world with almost ritual-like care, have quietly decided to formalize their long-running, carefully protected relationship. For those who followed their journey from on-screen chemistry to real-life warmth and mutual respect, the development feels like the natural next chapter of a story that has weathered speculation, distance, and the unique pressures that come with fame. According to Özcan's post, the pair will not be staging an extravagant spectacle to impress the industry. Instead, they are set to seal their commitment with a ceremony at the end of the summer, one that will be intimate, stripped back, and centered around meaning rather than display. The plan, he says, is simple in the most charming way. A secluded location embraced by nature. A setting where the air feels lighter, where the colors look softer, and where voices drop to a hush without anyone asking. The guest list will be deliberately short, family and a few friends who have been steady through the joys and the quiet storms. No wall-to-wall cameras. No crowded red carpet. No orchestrated spectacle. The sentiment is to create a memory that belongs first to them. It is exactly the kind of decision that fits who they have always been to those who know them best. Both Erkan and Hazal have built careers on discipline, talent, and a steady refusal to be drawn into public theatrics. Their work speaks loudly, their personal life, almost not at all. And yet the effect of this announcement has been like a stone dropped into still water. Fans are already writing messages, digging up their favorite photos, sharing edits and moment compilations that trace a timeline only the fandom could map with such tenderness. What gives this moment even more texture is how their careers have evolved. Erkan, with his steady intensity and grounded presence, has earned not just admiration but trust from audiences. Hazal, versatile and quietly formidable, has become one of those faces you lean in to watch because you know there is always intention behind every move. Together, they feel like a pairing that understands compromise and challenge, the push and pull of two separate lives learning to move as one. Bilal Özcan didn't just deliver the date window. He sketched the mood. He said the theme would be understated elegance, the kind of aesthetic that lets love speak without shouting. He suggested they are personally overseeing many of the details, down to the textures and tones, wanting to be sure the day reflects who they are now rather than who others expect them to be. The emphasis, above all else, is on authenticity. Since the announcement, the reaction has been swift and overwhelming. Comment sections are a river of congratulations, blessings, and disbelief that they managed to keep such a significant step so well protected in a world where secrets are almost impossible to keep. Some are sharing first impressions of when they saw them on set together for the first time. Others are crafting heartfelt notes about what their story has meant to them, especially to those who have followed both artists through career pivots and personal milestones. It isn't just the fandom that's reacting. The entertainment ecosystem has snapped to attention. Television programs are already planning segments, digital outlets are racing to compile retrospectives, and social media accounts are dissecting every frame of footage they can find to interpret unspoken clues about the preparations. You can feel the collective tilt toward late summer, like the whole industry is bracing for one of the season's most talked about unions. A romance like this, for many, reads like the kind of tale that resists the cynicism of modern celebrity life. People want to believe in a love that outlasts the noise, in a bond resilient enough to withstand schedules, rumors, and the relentless gaze of the public eye. Erkan and Hazal are no strangers to that gaze, and yet their quiet resolve to move in their own time has become part of their allure. When their admirers describe the arc of this relationship, they often choose words like storybook or timeless, not because it has been simple, but because it has felt deeply earned. There is something quietly defiant about choosing a ceremony in a natural setting rather than a city landmark known for spectacle. You can almost imagine the path leading to a clearing, the sunlight filtered through leaves, the rustle of a warm breeze in place of applause. Symbols matter, especially for two people who make a living crafting meaning on screen. In this case, the symbol is tranquility, a promise exchanged without chaos, a life that values the intimate over the impressive. Özcan's post hinted that the two are hands-on with everything from music to table settings. Nothing is ostentatious, but nothing is careless either. They apparently want the right song at the right moment, the right words said to the right people, the right amount of grace tucked into every minute. It's hard not to imagine Hazal weighing in on fabrics and flowers while Erkan fine-tunes the flow of events, both of them laughing over midnight tea when a detail finally feels right. If the reaction online is any indication, the public is content to wait without the usual demand for endless updates. That patience might be one of the most striking aspects of the moment. The same fans who can fuel a trend in minutes are promising to give the couple space. They are saving their energy for the day the first official photographs arrive, when all the whispers will finally have a face, a light, a stillness that becomes real. Industry insiders are already speculating on what this step will mean for their careers, but if history is any guide, they will fold this private milestone into their professional lives with the same balance they've shown so far. A marriage that is both celebrated and protected can become a kind of anchor in an unstable business. And when two artists feel anchored, the work can deepen, sharpen, glow. As buzz continues to build, television panels and online commentators are tracing the long thread that led here. The early days when people wondered if the glances on set were just the work of skilled actors. The times they disappeared from sight, only to re-emerge with calmer smiles and steadier eyes. The small gestures at public events, never flamboyant, always measured, that hinted at a truth they weren't ready to pronounce. And now, at last, that truth is being shaped into a date on the calendar, a location etched in their memory, a circle drawn around the people who stood by them. It has all the hallmarks of a summer event that will be revisited for years to come, not for excess or shock value, but for the rare feeling that it finally gave the audience something pure. What comes next is the slow reveal. A few details will drift out as the weeks pass. Suppliers will be named. A designer will be confirmed. A song will be teased. But in keeping with how they live, none of those elements will overshadow the core. The promise is the point. The rest is decoration. In private, those close to them say that both are relieved. There is relief in deciding. Relief in not dodging the question anymore. Relief in rising above expectation and choosing the simplest path to the deepest meaning. They have arrived at a place where the only applause that matters comes from a handful of faces they can name without thinking. Even so, the entertainment world will not step aside easily. There will be countdowns and speculative timelines and endless commentary about what this means, who will attend, what they will wear, how it will influence upcoming roles. That is the nature of the spotlight. But at the center, two people are mapping a day that belongs, first and last, to them. The best part of this story is how the public seems to understand that. The online tone, for once, is a mix of giddy and protective. It is as if everyone has collectively agreed to cheer loudly now and whisper later. To respect the boundaries they have consistently drawn. To celebrate a love that doesn't ask for feverish attention, only sincere happiness. There is an art to endings and beginnings, and for Erkan and Hazal, this season looks like both. An ending to speculation. A beginning to something wider and calmer. It feels like the cinematic moment when the camera holds for half a second longer than you expect, and only then cuts to a new scene in full color. You don't need dialogue to understand. You feel it. In the coming weeks, expect the chatter to swell. Expect shows to dedicate entire segments to their timeline. Expect that some will claim inside knowledge and others will guess wildly. But remember what has consistently been true. When it matters, the truth comes straight from them or from those few voices they trust. Today, one of those voices spoke, and everything shifted. So yes, mark your calendars for late summer, but do it with the kind of reverence usually reserved for music you love. Think of a ceremony among trees and quiet water, faces lit by dusk, vows spoken with care. Picture laughter that needs no microphone and promises that are gentle, unwavering, and wholly theirs. The story of Erkan Marek and Hazal Subasai has always stirred people, not just because of how they look together, but because of how they carry themselves when the cameras are off. Today's news magnifies that feeling. It is a reminder that great love stories do not always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes they unfold like a sunrise, inevitable and warm. We're going to keep following every credible update as it comes, while honoring the boundaries that have made this couple so admired in the first place. For now, let's sit with the sweetness of this moment. They chose each other, again and publicly, and they chose a celebration that mirrors who they are at heart. If you're as thrilled as we are, make sure you're part of this community so you don't miss the next step in their journey. Share this with the fans who have waited patiently, refresh your feeds with kindness, and hold space for the joy of a love story reaching its next chapter. This is Whispers of Turkish Stars, and we cannot wait to bring you more when the time is right. Until then, congratulations to Erkan and Hazal, and thank you for watching.